So chapter 8 deals with mainly just the built-in functions that you can use to manipulate strings and arrays. Okay, so let's talk about the strings first. A string is really just a text, right? A collection of text, one or more characters of text, and usually you wrap those text or strings in a single quotes or double quotes. Okay, that's a string. Anything that is not wrapped in a string, quotation marks, then those are not strings. Those would be like variable names or keywords in JavaScript. Okay, so in here, some of the common functions you will use if you haven't used already are the two lowercase and two uppercase functions or methods, right? These are basically just convert your string characters to all uppercase or to all lowercase. Okay, and usually these are functions that would attach to a variable. So in other words, these are actually properties or methods. When we talk about methods or properties, they are, if you think them in terms of sort of a class, then usually when you create an object out of that class, you have the it will use the dot notation, right? So these like two uppercase and two lowercase would be like the string dot to uppercase or string dot to lowercase. Most of the time they are used that way. Okay, very few times that you'll be using them by themselves, but usually they are use it this way. So in this example here, just to show you that if you have a string with all lowercase and OAA, then if you were to use the two uppercase, then it'll modify your string, okay, to all the uppercase. Oh, I shouldn't say modify. It doesn't really modify the actual string. It will change it, but then the original string shouldn't. I don't think you actually modify the original string. Okay, if you want to have it modified, then you have to actually replace it within itself. So you do an assignment. Okay, so it does not. These two functions doesn't alter the original string. Just to show you what that looks like, let me just go here. And you just do it here. Say you have, var str is ABC, right? So that's a string. If I put str dot to upper, right? It doesn't take a parameter here. If you do that, see that it has uppercase. It seems to be like it's now all uppercase. But if I type in str again, you'll see that it's still lowercase. Okay, so it does not change the original string. If you want to change it, then you will have to do like string is equal to string dot to uppercase. Okay, and then now it will change to uppercase. If I type str, you'll see that it's now been changed. Okay, so it doesn't change it. Same thing with the lowercase as well. It's just modify at runtime only. Why is it recording? And to lowercase. The next one is the character at. Okay, well the length is pretty straightforward, right? The same thing with the array. You can do the dot length will give you the length of the strings, the number of characters in that string. So let's talk about the character at here. The character at, you take the number here. It's a the attribute, the parameter be a number, the position of that character, starting with a 0. It's a 0-based language. So if you want to return the first, the number of character or the character at the one position, this would be like index of 1, then that's you get a return of character, letter A here. And notice that this is a string, right? We don't use, it's not using a variable name. You can attach a string or an array or anything like that in that manner because, as you can see, everything in JavaScript is an object, in a sense. So, for example, I have the var the string before here, still there, right? String ABC. If I say string.abc, give me the character at, what position is it? The position of, let's just say the third position. Since 3 is not there, so we have the 0, 1, and 2 only, so I'm not going to get a position from that third index. So you get just a blank. So if I put in 2, then I'm expected to get a letter C back. Okay. So again, you don't have to put a string or variable name here. You could just say, you know, just anything. Okay. And then char at, give it the 10th position, and that will give you that J, for example. I'm not sure which J is it, but I'm pretty sure it's probably the first J here. Okay, so you can see that you can do that very easily. Not only that, there's another method that you can use as well, which is in JavaScript 5, so JS version 5. And instead of using the char at or character at function, you could use just the square brackets, almost like the array, and that will return that position as well. So that's quite handy. So in other words, if I go back to string, right? If I put a string and then put the third position, that's for JavaScript 5. What do we? Cat 1. Let's see if that's only work for strings or not. Yeah, it didn't work for the variable names. Just the string. I mean the string literals only in that sense. But I mean it's not really that popular in this case. It's usually the char at and so on. Okay, but just so that you can use that if you want, and it usually only works for the string literals. So when you compare two strings, it's very easy in the JavaScript. Okay, if you have two strings or two different strings, you can compare them just using your logical operators, and you're fine. So when you compare strings, you're not actually comparing the memory location as you would in Java. In Java will be different, right? In Java, when you compare strings, you're actually comparing the memory locations if you not be careful with that. So you just do it very easily. So let's go back here. If I have my string is ABC all uppercase. If I have another one, just say string 2 is lowercase ABC. Okay. So if I want to compare those, I'll just say string is equal to string 2. And that will return true or false based on the characters. In this case, it's case sensitive, right? Because when you compare the characters, you compare at the actual ASCII character for that single character. So capital A would be like about what is it? 690. Forgot. 96 or something, 69. And then small a is after that. So that's string comparing. Strings concatenation here is when you want to combine or join two strings or two or more strings together. You can use the concat and then just take a parameter. Okay. So the first string, and then you concatenate the second string with that. Okay, so the slice is basically if you think about slice, is exactly what you do, right? You slice a string at a certain position, and then you get a string back from that position on. Okay, so if I have a string, for example, the word or the phrase "the morning is upon us," okay, has this many characters, and if you want to slice at a certain position, then you can choose that position based on from the 0 to the end of the string. Doesn't matter what it is. If you just say, slice at the third position, so it would be like index of 3, it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, this white space here. It would slice from this position to the end of that string if you don't supply the second index to the end index. Okay, so it would be from that position all the way to the end of the string. If you do supply the second parameter, then it will stop at that number. Okay, usually the second number should be equal to or larger than the first number, otherwise it will not make sense. Okay, so go back here again. If I put str, you get ABC. So if I put slice at the first, at the first position, okay, so I'm returning the B and C all the way to the end. So the 0 position, the first position that's inclusive, and then all the way to the end of the string. Okay, if you just want that character B, then it's just one character, right? So from that to let's see, string slice the first position, and then to the second position. And then if you want to go so to the third, well, I mean, the third is, there's no third, so it's still going to be going all the way to the end of that string. Okay, it does not return the one prior to, but only from the initial position all the way to the end of that string, or to that index, second index. That's a slice. The -2 is the negative number is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is if you are counting from the end position backwards, okay, and then you extract from that position. Let's see if that's correct. You have a positive and negative number. I would have to probably, let me modify my string here. String 2 has, let's just go with string 3, let's say JavaScript. Okay, we'll put that JavaScript in there. So it has how many characters in there? Length gives us 10. Okay, so it will be from 0 to 9th position, right? Index 0. So if you want to slice it from the let's just say second position, second index, that would be the V, to the 5th, so you get VAS. Okay. If you want to slice it from that same position, but going from the other direction, so this would be like a -1, -2, -3. So I'm expected to get VASCR. Okay, so you put a -3 here. Let's see if that's correct. Okay. So you see that it counts from the end of that string and it goes backward. When you come in that direction, then the first character here is actually the first number. So there's no -0. Okay. So a -1, -2, -3, and so from this direction to that direction. Right? The split is kind of similar to the slice. What it does is that if you split it, is that you will split your entire string and it will convert that into an array. Okay, so this one here returns an array, and this is the one I mentioned earlier, but it's really, really useful. So let's go here, and the syntax is the string split, and then you have a separator followed by the limit. Okay, so let's just say that I could go back in here, and let's see my string 3. Okay, has JavaScript in there. If you want to split this, when you split it, you have to specify what kind of separator you need to split your string. So if you choose, let's just say the lowercase a, then every letter A finds in there is going to split from that position. Okay, because it's break off from, let's just say whatever it is, from the 0 position all the way to A, and then it will break that off and put that into the first element. We'll go to the next one, and so on. So if I split this at the A position, I'm going to get 1, 2, and 3 elements. So it's going to skip that separator. Okay, so if I put like let's see, for new string is string 3 dot split. Okay, if I use the character A as that separator, then sorry. Oh yeah. Thank you. String 3. Let's do it again. Okay, so if I type new string now, see that it has 3 elements because it finds only 2 separators in here, the A and A. So it breaks it off and then it keeps that into an element. Okay, so it's very handy if you want to break your string into an array, especially if you want to break it and using spaces. So if you have like if I do like string 3, right, another concatenation here, if I put is a cool language, right? So string 3 contains that. Okay, if you break it off and if you want to convert every word into an element of the array, then it's very easy just to use this concatenator here. You put a white space in there. So every white space you find, we'll break that off and then break that into an element of that many array elements. Go to new string 2. Okay, you see that it breaks into really a 5-element array. Okay. This function is very useful, especially when you write a program to scrape somebody's site and grab all the data from a site. You can do that, right? You can scrape it and parse everything and every word in that page, so you can omit all the HTML tags, just get the text itself, and then put that into an array, and then you can go back to the array and search for it or sort it and grab some data from there. It's very popular for like news sites, for example. Okay, so that one is pretty cool, and we'll see how you can also convert this back to an array later. The substring that's what it means. You find a substring within a string. Okay, you just basically start with the starting position, and you also specify the length as well. If you don't specify, it will find until the end of that string. Okay, as how many characters you want. So let's go back here again. Our string string 3. Okay, string 3 substring from, let's just say, the 5th position. It's going to start from that 5th position and it goes all the way to the end of that string. Okay, it looks very similar to the slice. Okay, except the slice is you start from the index position to another index position. Okay, this one you just count in the number of characters from here to the end of that. So that is the difference. If I put 5 and I just wanted 3 characters from the 5th position, then I'll return only 3 characters from there. Whereas if you do a slice, then you're going from the 5th position going back to the 3rd position, and that doesn't make sense. You will get an empty string. Okay, so it counts the number of characters you want to get from the substring. Okay, and again, you're not changing the original string. You just get a new string from that original string. If you want to use that in your code, then you will have to assign this into another variable name, and then you can use that for whatever purpose you want. That's the substring. The search. This one here is also very, very powerful. You would have to know some regular expression, and I mentioned that maybe like a couple of weeks back when we did the form validation and introduced the regex, and there. And it's also in this chapter too, towards the end of that book or at the beginning, I don't remember where, but it talks about regular expressions. And I'm not going to expect you to know this in this class. Okay, it's a really, I think the book has spends a couple of pages explaining what these are. But you can do that at your own time if you want to know. But it won't be an exam, just for sure. But so if you want to search your string for a certain pattern, then you will use that search to find it. Okay, so let's just say if I go in here, back to the string here, and my string 3 has that string, so I could do string 3.search. What if I search for the word is, right? And you see that it finds that string is, and that string finds the first occurrence in that string, and it returns the index position. Okay, so it will be the index of the I position here. If you count from there to there, I think that should be in the 11th position here. Okay, if you have, let's just say, if I type the same thing, if I put A, I get the first position 0 and then 1. Okay, and I ignore the rest of that string. So if it finds it once, it will return that position, and then you are done. The index of is kind of the same thing as search. Okay, it returns the index position of a word, a matching word. If it doesn't find it, it'll return a -1, so that you know that it's not found in that list. Okay. Let's see. Replace is you'll replace your string with a substring with another string, or a character or a word in your string, and replace it with a new one. So you replace it with a pattern or with a substring, and then replace that if you have that substring, and then replace it with a new string. Okay. So in this example here, I'm using a regular expression. It just means that find the word apples, okay, and then replace it with the word oranges. And you see that the result is that there are 2 apples here, one here and one here. Okay, I believe maybe it's not case sensitive in here. The thing with the GI here, it's a global GI. I forgot what stuff. I know G is global. The I is I forgot what the I stands for. Okay, it's a special flag that tells the engine to replace every occurrence of the word apple in here. Okay, if you don't supply the GI, it's just going to replace the first occurrence. Okay, so if you want to replace everything in that string, then put the GI there, and it will replace every where you find that word apples and that string and replace with it. And you'll see a lot with this expression here, something something here, and then you end that expression, and then you put the GI here, and it will replace it. The GI is global, so it will look for the entire string.